Hi, my name is Richard Murphy, and I'm the editor-in-chief at ServiceNow. Today, I want to talk to you about cultural transformation. I want you to imagine that you're a caseworker in a state government agency that delivers vital services to people in need. Times are tough. People are out of work. Your customers are counting on you, but you can't support them properly because legacy tech is getting in the way. Instead of helping people find jobs and get healthcare, you're filling in spreadsheets and writing endless repetitive emails. And because of the pandemic, you're doing all of this from your kitchen table while your kids and your pets wander by in the background. The answer is digital transformation, right? But here's the thing. Research shows that most big IT implementation projects fail to add value. In one McKinsey survey, only 14% of executives surveyed said that their digital transformation project created any kind of sustained business value. We're in the COVID-19 era. That is flat out unacceptable. We can't afford to waste resources. Every dollar that we spend on IT in this new normal has to drive productivity. It has to make work flow smoothly across all the functions of an organization, and it has to deliver the great experiences that employees and customers demand, anywhere, anytime, on any device. What's a CIO to do? Now, research shows that digital transformation programs often fail because employees don't buy in. It's not a tech issue, it's not an IT issue, it's a culture issue. So in the next 20 minutes, we're going to talk about cultural transformation. You're going to learn how digital workflows affect workers and employee cultures, and I'm going to show you how to galvanize your employee culture in support of digital transformation. So the key to successful digital transformation is cultural transformation. I want to talk to you about a research project that my team recently led in two large organizations on opposite sides of the world. The first one was a state government agency in Tennessee that was having major problems with their customer service delivery. They operated call centers where people in need of social services would call in to get those needs met by accessing various federal and state programs. The customer service wasn't working. Really long wait times, customers on hold, emails that took days and days to answer, completely unacceptable in a situation where you have people with real serious needs trying to feed their family, feed their families, get access to the services they needed. This organization implemented a customer service management platform that automated a lot of the basic work of setting up new cases, tracking customers through those cases, all the way from the initial query to confirming that the service has been provided and the customer is getting helped. This transformed their customer service experience. As a result, as their head of customer service told me, man, Richard, we went from being the Fred Flintstone of customer service to being the James Bond. That guy had a swagger in his step, and so did all of the service reps who are helping people in their state. That was a real success story, and customer service management was what really helped them. Let's go over to the Pacific region. Australasia healthcare delivery system, one of the largest in that part of the world, operates hospitals and clinics. Their mission was to provide healthcare. They were struggling with their employee services. Employees, nurses, doctors, hospital administrators were spending a lot of time on paperwork to get their HR issues dealt with, handle their leave and vacation requests. They also had problems with just basic things like scheduling patient appointments. That was paper-based and highly cumbersome. They had hospital orderlies who were being called via loudspeaker which was which was highly inefficient way to get work done in a hospital. What was their strategy? They modernized with new tech and a patient-centered approach. They implemented a new HR workflow management system for employees and managers. They put in a patient scheduling system for clinic appointments, and they implemented a task scheduling system that dispatches hospital orderlies via smartphone app. The results were really, really extraordinary. They accelerated their employee service delivery by a lot. And as a result, their healthcare professionals are able to do what they signed up for, which is take care of patients rather than filling out forms. And by the way, as we'll talk about a bit later, those orderlies loved the new technology because it actually elevated their social status inside the hospital. They got more respect because they were on top of the latest tech. So how did these two organizations succeed? What was their secret? Was it tech? Just did they have better software than other organizations? Not at all. Two words explain their success: cultural transformation. Right now, I want to give you a cultural transformation playbook that you can apply in your organization. It has 6 elements. And here's number 1. You have to develop a culture of change. Change is a fact of life in organizations. We all know that. But it has to be carried out in a way that makes people want to adapt it. It needs careful management, so it unfolds step by step. You're not going to succeed with digital transformation by sending out an email from the CIO saying, hey, this is a new platform. You all have to start using it. Good luck. No, you have to get employees behind your transformation. So in the state government agency, what they really concentrated on identifying champions for change throughout the employee base, bringing them into the process of designing and implementing their new customer service management solution. This wasn't top down from IT. This was IT working shoulder to shoulder with the employees to develop tools that the employees could actually understand and use. Very similar approach was taken in the hospital system. Their chief digital officer told us that she had implemented a program that she called co-design of the user experience. What does that mean? It meant that she formally enlisted administrators, nurses, back office folks, everybody who's going to be using these tools to get in a room periodically and explain to the IT team what their needs were, why it was so cumbersome for them to schedule a simple leave, or why it was so hard to call an orderly, or why it was such a pain to just schedule an appointment for an outpatient procedure. The real learnings, the knowledge that it took to develop the right digital transformation solution didn't come from IT for the most part. It came from the employees on the front lines who are using the tools, working with IT to co-design that user experience. That's what a culture of change is all about. Here's lesson number 2. So that culture of change, again, it's about collaboration. It's not about the CIO telling the rest of the company what to do. It's about everybody working together, employees, leadership, IT, frontline service delivery folks, all of them working together. Third step that's key in cultural transformation is clarifying people's expectations. Because we all know new technology can erode trust. People sometimes find new technology threatening. It can make them anxious. So you have to really clearly communicate how the technology is going to not just support employees, but what's going to change because of the tech and what's not going to change. And you have to be really upfront about your end goals. So for example, when it's a question of new technology arriving in the workplace, that can make people nervous. Some of them might be concerned that the new tech is going to make them redundant. Some of them might be worried about being spied on. That was the case in the state government agency, by the way. It wasn't that the call center workers, the service reps were so worried about having to learn a new piece of software. They could handle that okay, but they were somewhat concerned that management might be using the software to spy on them and measure their productivity. So management had to really carefully explain that that was not the purpose of these tools. The purpose of the tools was to serve customers better. And remember, these are customer service reps who are delivering services that the citizens in the state really need. They need jobs. They need healthcare. They need education. They signed up the employees to help people, not to struggle with cumbersome old school software. So by clarifying the expectation that we're not using these tools to spy on you, we're using them so that you can help do a better job of helping your customers. They signed on. They're like, I'm in. The fourth thing you have to really focus on is showing benefits. Where's that low-hanging fruit? In the hospital system, back to the other side of the world in Australasia, one of the tools that the healthcare system implemented was a smartphone-based app for scheduling orderlies. Orderlies in this hospital, and at a lot of hospitals, are pretty low down on the professional totem pole. They're the people who do the vital but unsung work of making sure that the patient gets moved from the waiting room to the triage room, to the OR. When customers have a problem, they need their bedpan changed, they need a drink. Often it's the orderly who has to who provides that. So in this hospital, the way you called an orderly back in the day was you just used a loudspeaker system and say, hey, we need an orderly on the 4th floor. And some orderly would hear that, sitting in a breakout room, and they would say, okay, Joe, go and handle that one. It was not very well organized. It was not very efficient. And as a result, the orderly team were not nearly as productive as they could be. And as they turned out to be, once the organization implemented a smartphone app running on a digital service delivery platform that allowed people who needed an orderly to just click and swipe on an app, and allowed the orderlies themselves to just pick up their smartphones and see the call coming in, directed to an orderly who was free and free and available and able to do the task. As a result, man, their productivity skyrocketed. Not only that, their social status increased, because suddenly all the other professionals in the hospital who were calling orderlies, nurses, doctors, they suddenly saw that the orderlies were people who could handle advanced tech. No big deal. They were on that smartphone. They were on that app. That made the other professionals respect the orderlies more, and that increased the orderlies' pride in themselves. So their respect in the organization went up, their morale went up, their productivity went up, all because the organization thoughtfully implemented a new piece of tech and really showed the benefits to the orderlies themselves, to the organization, and crucially, to the patients. Fifth, and this may seem obvious, but training employees is vital. You have to train and train and train again so that your team is comfortable with the new tech. They understand how it works. They understand how it helps them. And it helps address their fears that they might be left behind or rendered obsolete by the new IT. The other benefit of training, and we heard this from managers in both these organizations, employees get engaged when you enlist them in the process. You train them and you ask them to send in their ideas for feedback so they can see change happening. You have to make sure that your employees are comfortable with whatever new platform you're asking them to work on. And the only way to get them comfortable is to train them. So do that thoughtfully, do it early, do it often. It is a key element in transforming an employee culture so that they embrace the digital transformation that you're trying to drive. Finally, you've got to focus on mission. You have to help employees understand that you're not just asking them to use new tech, use a new platform, use new software, use an app for the sake of technology. No. You have to make very clear that if they use the tech, they're going to be more productive, and that's going to help them serve their customers better, and that's going to help them advance the mission that they signed up for. Now, we did this research inside two highly mission-driven organizations, a social services agency and a hospital system. The people working there, they didn't choose these careers for the money. They chose these careers because they wanted to help people. They wanted to help citizens in need at the agency. They wanted to help patients get healthy at the hospital system. Leadership in both these organizations was really thoughtful about showing their employees that if they used the technology, if they embraced it, made it part of their work, it would help the mission. It would make it easier to provide services to citizens in need. It would make it easier to treat patients. It would lead to better health outcomes. And that's what really matters. It's not the technology itself. It's using the tech to become more productive, to help work flow across all the functions of an organization, so that you're not focused on the busy work, the form filling, the admin, and instead you have the time to really focus on helping people. That's true whatever organization you work in. I don't care if you're in manufacturing or financial services, retail, public sector. We all have customers, and we all signed up to help those customers. The point of digital transformation is to make us all more productive, is to help us have better experiences as employees, so that our customers can have better employees, better experiences, and we can advance the missions that we all signed up for. I'll close with just one story that I took away from our research at the state government agency that really shows what can happen in a culture when you apply the 6 steps that I've talked about. The people who worked in customer service at this agency were dedicated professionals. Many of them had been at it for decades. They were up in their 50s and 60s. In many cases, they'd seen all kinds of technology come and go in their organization. When they started out, everything was on the phone and on paper. Now they were being asked to adopt an automated customer service management platform, which they did. It took some work for leadership to get employees to understand the value of the technology, and to get them to understand how it would help them actually serve their customers, and how it would make their jobs easier and give them more time to do the things that they cared about, both at work and at home. But they did it. They co-designed the user experience. They collaborated. They trained maniacally, and they really brought their employees on board. So when our team was in there filming and interviewing, we talked to a team of customer service reps, caseworkers, who like to get together and dance together at the end of their shift. They would crank some music, and they had a dance routine that they did, and they hadn't really had time to do that for a while, because they were so overwhelmed with the volume of cases, and their technology platform was such a mess. They were spending so much time on busy work that there was no time really even to serve customers properly, let alone do something fun to relax at the end of the day. Well, with the new platform, work was flowing a lot smoother. Customers were getting what they needed. And these ladies in this service center, they were able to dance, and we filmed them, standing up there, cranking their tunes, and doing their dance routine, and just laughing like you've never seen. Their morale was sky high, because they knew that they were doing a better job for their customers, and in turn, they were having a better experience in their jobs and in their lives. That's why culture matters. Thank you very much.